Hi, my name's Tony and I'm from the Sup Company, and today I'm going to tell you all about the all-new Starboard Spice. So here we are with the all-new Starboard Spice. Well, one of them at least. And the Spice as a model, I've got to tell you, when we hear from Starboard that they are launching a new model, another model, it does make you feel dread as a dealer on one hand, and also excitement. Because you know the design team at Starboard aren't going to go and create and introduce the new board into the range without good reason. The dread element comes from that there are so many boards already in the range. It really helps to understand where a new board such as the Spice fits. And I have to say that the Spice as a range of boards, and there are 4 boards within the range of the Spice, that's a 711, an 8.2, an 8.8 and a 9.3. Where do they fit? And they kind of fill a hole that's been long-standing really in the Starboard Surf lineup particularly, because you've got the Wedge and the Pro, and this is where the Spice kind of drops in and fills quite a vast gap between those two models, the Pro being very much at the very performance, almost hardcore focused surf sup. And then you've got the Wedge. And the Wedge lineup is hugely popular as a wide body surf shape. Appeals to a really vast range of paddler out there, covers off a huge array of sizes as well. And it's those paddlers really as to where the Spice kind of has mass appeal, because it's its user-friendly overall nature that the Spice has designed into it. And its ability though to excite in terms of its carving and just how it really intuitively wants to roll to rail to rail. The tight hips in the back end of the board make it very responsive. And yeah, it fully justifies and warrants its spot in a superb Starboard lineup, albeit a growing one. So look, let's run you through the board from the nose down to the tail, as we do in all of our videos. And well, the Spice, the big thing, and in fact, Will, who does all the videos with us here at the Sup Company as well, just noted, it's a really wide board. All of the Spices are very, very wide, given their overall length. And it almost looks like the board's kind of been, particularly in terms of how the volume is distributed throughout the board, almost like they've taken a performance surf shape and kind of squashed it from the top and kind of squeezed that volume out towards the edges. And that ultimately gives you a very, very stable surf shape underfoot. And you can see that really early on in the Spice, just how quickly it fills out to its overall width. This board here, this is the 8.8, so it sits at 32 inches in width. And yeah, that is a wide board for sure. The nice thing with it though is you end up with stability, and masses of stability, and it just gives you so much confidence when you are out on the face of a wave. And the nice thing with this board is speed, because it runs a fairly soft rocker line, which encourages a lot of speed. It is set up in a quad setup, and we'll get to that in a moment. But it's that ability of the board and its width that does give an awful lot of confidence. Where Starboard have played a really neat trick, the design team on this board, is ultimately, well, it's easiest if I roll it over and show you. And hopefully this comes out on camera. There is a bevel, a really, really neat bevel down underside on each rail. And that does 2 things really. It makes the board want to work on its rail, but actually it also really sharpens up the rail, and you end up with a really thin rail on the Spice for a board of this relative width and length. That means though one thing really: performance, enjoyment, excitement when you're on the front of the wave, and the Spice delivers in absolute spades. Working our way down the deck pad though, yeah, I really like this kind of hex traction kind of finish to the overall aesthetic of the board. Still diamond cut hexagons all the way through the board. What's nice again from Starboard is you end up with these soft flat patches, so it really does help you orientate where you are in terms of your footwork on the board. And then there's also this raised ridge down the center as you come towards the tail of the board, and a kick pad as well, so you know when you are on the center on the board. As we work our way down though towards the tail, well, most notably, you'll find that it's almost got hips to it, and the actual tail is drawn in all of a sudden, which ultimately makes the board much more responsive when you are down the very tail end of it and you're over the quad setup on the underside, and it just allows you to drive and really work the board off those bottom turns and back up the face of the wave. What it does though with the hips in the forward wider sections though is it does encourage a lot more stability, and it is, again, this board really is kind of a beginner looking to an advance, a great intermediate board as well, someone who perhaps doesn't want a board as focused as the Pro, something there but delivering more than a Wedge, say, for example. That's not to say a board like the Spice doesn't work for the pros, especially when you look at Zane Schweitzer, Starboard's pro out there. He's recently run a stop on the World Tour on a Spice. So, often it can also be chosen for those elites of our sport as well. But let's take the board and roll it all the way over though onto its underside. And you can really see just how flat that rocker is. It's not flat enough that it's going to cause you a problem. There's enough rocker in the board that's going to get you out of trouble. But it really is encouraging the board to be quick and generate lots of speed, and back down to this really nice quad setup that's keeping the board very, very fast, but also with the center fin box as well, allowing you to tailor the fin setup as to how you're wanting it. Thanks for watching our video. If you've got any questions about what you've seen, why not give us a call in the shop or head over to thesupco.com. To stay up to date though with all of our videos, well, make sure you subscribe up here and hit the notification bell. But to see our next video, well, take a look up here.